Everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings Podcast. I'm your host, Lucas, with my hosts here, Maurice, Mal, and Earl. Guys, we are recording late Tuesday night, and we got a lot to talk about. Well, actually, not as much as we normally do, but before we get into our games, we got to go over our Week 7 predictions. Earl, you guys are on a bye. Earl, you had a relaxful weekend, didn't have to worry about wins, didn't have to worry about losses. You just got to enjoy some football. Week 7, we all had the Commanders losing, which I'm kind of surprised because I felt, you know what? No, I just. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later. New York, we all had winning, and the Eagles, me and Mal had losing. Earl and Maurice had winning. So Earl and Maurice, you were right on that. So before we get into our game dissections like we normally do, we're going to talk because the trade deadline is just around the corner. I'll give you guys a minute or two just to talk briefly about any trades that you guys want to make or any players you guys think could be traded. Earl, I'll start with you. Keep it nice, sweet, to the point, bud.
Well, I think first, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. The situation with the trade deadline is Halloween, and I kind of know that Jerry Jones, he he's actually waiting for someone to call him, leading with the trade, and I'm not sure how that's gonna go, because so far in times when they needed to trade for somebody, they traded unless it was a necessary need. Like last season, they traded for Jonathan Hankins, and he was something that could shore up the run defense. And I really haven't seen much of a solid trade since the Amari Cooper trade back when they traded the first to the Raiders for him. Now, they were a bunch of boneheads for trading him for a bag of chips and some gummy bears to Cleveland. And now we're just trying to figure out, okay, you traded for Brandon Cooks during the offseason. You traded for Stephon Gilmore to shore up that cornerback too. Trayvon Diggs suffered a torn ACL, and now he's basically the number one corner next to Deron Bland. My biggest solution for Dallas is to go after a corner. I would say Pat Surtain, but I'm not sure if the Broncos are looking to give up Surtain unless for a big penny. The player that I think they should go after is a corner from Chicago. I forgot his name, but he's one on my radar. Now, there's a situation with running back. I'm gonna throw some devil advocate with it, in which would have Dallas trade Saquon? Now, with
Never gonna happen. The Giants would never do that trade.
Yeah,
last game,
absolutely not. He'll go to the AFC if anything.
okay. My next trade scenario would have Dallas trades for Chase Young.
No, why are you trying to poach teams from our division? You know we don't trade in division.
Anything's
First time that
possible.
actually happened.
Rarely does it happen, but it happens.
Right. Maurice, what if Dallas decides to trade for Quez Watkins?
I don't know if he has much value, but continue.
I think he could be an asset to Dallas as a speed guy that can stretch the field. So these are like scenarios that I have in my mind in which Dallas could do, which are the things that they need. They need another pass rusher to move Micah to the linebacker while Van Ness is on the sideline. I can see Dallas going after another receiver like Gallup ain't it. Now, the running back situation, we need a running back that's a little bigger, that's got some wiggle, and can move the pile. I can see Saquon doing that. And the scenarios that I have for it, it could work, but knowing Jerry Jones, he's going to be close to the Halloween deadline. That's all I have.
All right, what do you think, Mal? Is your team gonna trade Saquon? Should they trade Saquon? I don't think they will, but should they trade him?
No, I don't think they should trade Saquon. I think that at this point, with where we're at with the quarterback situation, I think my GM knows it was a mistake, and that Saquon is the face of our franchise. And at this point, I think it really depends on how the next week goes against the Jets. But I don't think we're going to trade Saquon because he's literally the face of our franchise. So, and I don't think they should at this point. I think he should be a staple that we kind of build around a little bit. But we'll see what happens.
Any other moves that you guys could make?
No, I think if anything, we should be sellers, not buyers, based on how the season is going. I think that we could move some defensive players. I don't think we'll get much value out of our offensive players. I think Darren Waller's staying put. I would like him to stay put because I think he's also someone we should build around. But I think there's some.
Do y'all think y'all could trade for an offensive lineman if there's a buyer?
I would love to. I just don't think there's going to be anybody on the market right now.
Is there any way that you guys could offload Daniel Jones?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's going to take him, to be honest with you. Not right now, at least.
His contract is too big.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't foresee it, but that's what I got on the Giants.
All right, Maurice.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles already made a move going into the trade deadline next Tuesday, October 31st. Howie Roseman made a pretty good trade again, GM. He traded Terrell Edmonds and 2 late round picks for Kevin Byard, safety from Tennessee Titans. I completely love this move. They just upgrade the position without giving up much at all.
Seems like the Titans are a team that's selling right now with the injury to Tannehill. I just saw today that they're going to play both backup quarterbacks during the next week's game.
Yeah, they might be in tank mode.
I mean, I heard Derrick Henry get into the mix. If they move Derrick Henry to like Dallas, that would be hilarious, in my opinion.
That would be, yeah. But yeah, we traded for a Philly native. Since he was drafted in 2017, he has 27 interceptions. He averages 4 a season, so that's really good. I mean, what is not to like about this trade for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, sorry, go ahead, Earl.
Byard, he's a solid player. He's actually a dog. He pretty much gave Dak some problems every time Dak played against him. And overall, I think he would be a solid asset to the Eagles, especially in their secondary, in which they're showing up something that is a weakness to them. So overall, I like the trade.
Yeah, I think it's a solid deal. Like I've said in the past, I think easily the Eagles have the best GM of the division. For me, I mean, I know Chase Young is the hot name, but honestly, you could make the argument right now that Chase Young is our best pass rusher this season. I'm not quite sure if he leads the team in sacks, but it feels like he does. See, it feels like he always beats his assignment. I would not trade him. I would try to keep him and sign him this offseason. I feel confident that we could, especially with a new regime. But I guess we'd have to wait and see.
You gotta sign Sweat too.
Yeah. I'm willing to pay both. Or if I'm gonna give up on one, I think I might as well give up on Sweat. But because the ceiling's just so much higher with Chase. Not saying that Sweat isn't great because he is, but if I'm trading Chase, and here's my thought about this, because Maurice, we're basketball guys. We definitely see this all the time in the NBA. Maurice, what happens in a contract season?
The player plays great,
exactly.
but from the general manager's side of it, you can offload them if you know they're not going to resign.
Yeah. If you could play both sides of the coin with Chase Young. You could sell him while he's high, and good compensation, maybe a high draft pick, and maybe an offensive lineman, because Lord knows we need it. Lord knows it. Or you can keep him and try to re-sign him. It's just depends on what direction you want to take the franchise. That being said, let's go ahead and get into the 2 matchups of the week. Mal, you know what? You go first. I can't talk about this right now. You go.
All right. So the Giants beat the Commanders 14-7 in a really ugly divisional game.
So ugly.
So ugly. I was literally freaking out the whole entire game because I just don't even know what the heck was going on. But Tyrod Taylor had the start, played a really nice game, had some really good throws. But the highlight of that game was the Giants defense. Dexter Lawrence with 2 sacks, Leonard Williams with 2 sacks and a blocked field goal, Jason Pinnock with a sack, Banks with his first interception, Wink Martindale with his play calling. Everything was great for the defense. Only points that the Commanders scored was off of a muff punt by Sterling Shepard. And other than that, really not much going for them. So the defense had a great day. What went wrong? Offense was stagnant in the second half. We really didn't do much. Definitely could have had more points on the board to make that more comfortable. My player of the game is Dexter Lawrence. He was an absolute beast. Totally messed up Nick Gates out there, his former teammate. And it was really nice to see for once because our defense is finally getting their confidence back. Lucas,
well, I mean,
your turn.
Look, any defense can get their confidence back against this offensive line. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It's not special for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Look, everything went wrong. Like usually I can praise the offense. I can't. Defense, they did okay. Held them to 14 points. Not bad. Shut them out in the second half. But in reality, I think this loss puts the nail in the coffin for Ron Rivera. I don't think you can come back. Even if you do well the rest of the season, the only way that Ron Rivera comes back, and if he wins 2 playoff games, in my opinion, that's the only way he comes back. Otherwise, I'm moving on. I don't see that. And honestly, this was not a good showing for Eric Bieniemy. You guys know I've been praising Bieniemy's game calling this whole entire season. First half, horrendous. He improved in the second half by moving the pocket around. But if we have to move the pocket to stop from sacks, which really limits the offense, especially downfield plays, it's a problem. It's a big problem. I will state this right now. I think the Commanders' offensive line is the worst in the NFL. Sam Howell has 40 sacks on the season. He has been sacked 40 times. And maybe 10%, maybe like 20% of them. So maybe 8 of those sacks are his fault, right?
Holding on to the ball too long.
Yeah, but okay, in that game where he had like 5, only 2 of them he held on to the ball for too long. Guys, you want to know the average amount of time that Sam Howell has to throw the ball before he gets pressured? 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I mean, look, I don't know if Eric Bieniemy is going to get the job now. I don't know. Look, the GM needs to be fired first because I don't think you can move on with that GM because clearly they don't know how to build an offensive line. You need to get a new GM, maybe promote Doug Williams to GM because he's already working in the front office. I'd be okay with that. Or somebody out from the outside probably would be better, to be honest. And then you gotta fire the coaching staff. Maybe bring back Bieniemy. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm tempted to bring him back because he has made adjustments every time that the offense has looked bad in the first half. He's adjusted and they've looked much better in the second half. So maybe I bring back Bieniemy, but that's it. Like the defense wasn't great. I don't know. The only positive here was Terry McLaurin looking like Terry McLaurin. He's my player of the game for the Commanders. But look, I will say this, and to get off my team for a second, because I can't talk too much about without getting really upset about it.
I can conclude it for you.
Well, let me just say this before I let you go on. Mal, if I'm the Giants, I start Tyrod the rest of the season until he proves that he can't handle it anymore, which I think he can because he's been a starter in the past. your team your players like him more. You can tell by their body language and how much they try. So I think Tyrod should be the starting quarterback for the Giants for the rest of the season, but that's just me. Mal, do you want to?
Listen, I think Tyrod's doing a great job, and I'm very fortunate enough to have a quarterback that is as good as Tyrod Taylor. A lot of teams are not fortunate enough to have that. Someone that can come in and win games and do a really good job and has the support of the locker room. But that Dable won't do that when Daniel Jones is completely healthy, but I don't know if Daniel Jones will be completely healthy. I think there's a lot not being said, and I think Dable secretly is saying like, oh, like if Daniel's healthy, he's going to be the starting quarterback, but I don't think Daniel Jones will be back anytime soon. I think against the Jets next week, you guys should expect to see Tyrod moving forward, and that's just how it's going to be. See what happens next year.
Healthy,
but I don't think Daniel's healthy. I don't think he's well. He's trying to get healthy, but if he does come back, and I'll eat my words, I know Dable will play him. You don't pay $160 million just to bench somebody after, the 3 weeks that he played.
I mean, it depends on how much they want to try to win. Like, I don't care how much money you make. And I think Dable's the type of guy that would bench somebody that's making a lot of money if it meant helping the team.
Yeah, but you can't bench somebody after having a really bad performance and then getting hurt who you paid all this money to.
But it wasn't just one bad performance, Mal.
If he comes back and has a bad performance, bench him for Tyrod, but you got to give him another shot.
It's too much invested in Daniel Jones to just give up on him this early.
I mean,
especially after an injury.
I'm a Sixers fan, so I'm willing to give up on a guy early that we paid a lot on. Ben Simmons. But look, I get it. So Earl, what did you want to say to wrap this game up?
Well, to Miles' point, the Giants, I think they should stay with Tyrod, but also that tandem with him and Saquon has been working out a lot, and Tyrod is getting the receivers involved. He's getting Waller involved. I'm sure for you, Luke, and
Hyatt. Yes. What I was looking for.
And he was in bounds too when he caught that deep ball. So
yeah, I don't know.
But for your point, Lucas, with the Washington, I think, I believe Rivera's gone, but they also can ship out Del Rio as well.
Yeah, he's gone too. Absolutely, he has to go.
The only situation is working with what was there last season, and you really can't count on him to create a Houdini act with making sure that everything's afloat. He's doing the best that he can with it. They just got to shore up that offensive line. Then you will be able to see more of what Howell can do and the weapons y'all have in that. But for right now, y'all just got to have to deal with the situation on the offensive line. And it should improve as the season goes. But if not, you can start shuffling and getting some new guys in there, addressing in the draft. But the enemy can only work with what he has in Washington right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and let's go to our other game of the week.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let's talk about the class of the NFC East.
Yeah, that makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let Maurice have that.
Philadelphia Eagles played Sunday night and they beat the Miami Dolphins 31-17. This was not a complete game, but I was very satisfied with it. First of all, it was nice to see them with the Kelly Green jerseys on. They look real clean.
Look so good.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
Having the penalties in the quarter.
I know Earl was going to talk about that, but the Philadelphia Eagles had 0 penalties. The Miami Dolphins had 10. Say what you will, it's all about discipline. It's all about coaching. Maybe it was one. I'll give you one. The face mask penalty, but karma got us back on the very next play where Jalen Hurts threw the interception, the pick six.
True. So it didn't really matter in the end with that one.
Yeah, that got us right back. That was karma. But anyway, Jalen Hurts who at least for the second half played a little bit injured, but I didn't really see it. But reports were he was hurt. He went 23 for 31 for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He looked good. The rushing was meh. It was meh. Altogether, he ran for 99 yards between Swift, Hurts, and Gainwell. Gainwell did have a touchdown. Hurts had a rushing touchdown as well. But the player of the game is A.J. Brown. He dominated once again. 10 catches for 137 yards and 1 touchdown. I would think on Sunday night, another receiver, Tyreek Hill, would be the most dominating player or at least receiver in the game. But A.J. Brown showed up, and he's a tough cover one-on-one. I'll say that. And our defense held an explosive Miami Dolphins offense to 7 points from the offense. So
I was very impressed, Maurice, with that. It's awesome.
Yes, I'm very happy with our defense. We had 4 sacks. We really showed out. It was a very impressive win. What you guys think?
So can I say something about the Dolphins here?
Go ahead.
Are we overrating this Miami Dolphins team?
Are they on fraud alert? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I
Based
look at
off
all
the
the
players
teams that they
beat.
None
Based
of
off
them
the
have a
teams they
winning
played,
record.
yeah.
Heat after they scored those 70 points on Denver.
Yeah, look, and Denver has a really bad defense. And I think the Patriots actually played them well, right? Like they didn't get blown out by them, right? And Patriots have a good defense, right?
Well, they lost to the Bills. The Bills is a competitive team. They're not as good as they were, but their only loss came to the Bills and now the Eagles. I think it comes down to just the strength of the opponents they've played, and they haven't been really good.
Yeah, so I think the fraud, as Mal said, is actually a good term for the Dolphins. That being said, you guys are one of the best teams in the NFC. I don't think that's any secret here.
Especially after the Lions.
But I disagree.
Well, I don't know. The Lions looked horrendous against the
horrendous.
Yeah,
but they're still a playoff team, and the Dolphins.
For sure.
And the Dolphins are a playoff team. You got to remember.
Yeah. As of now, they are a playoff team.
They didn't have their 2 stars. I'm sorry, Lucas. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, the Eagles are still a really good team. They beat a good team. Like the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year. You guys still have most of the offensive pieces. Defense is still trying to figure that out, but you guys are doing good. Like I have no complaint. Look, kudos. I have nothing bad to say. I think there was a few breaks that went right for you guys, but I mean, Earl has kind of already touched on that. You guys have kind of already touched on that. I'm not going to say too much, but look, you guys are one of the best teams in the NFL. Especially in the NFC. I don't think that's a stretch. So, yeah, I don't have much to add.
Yeah, because
yeah, the Eagles, they're definitely one of the top teams in the NFC. I give them credit where it's due. Also give A.J. Brown credit as well, in which how he takes over a game when you get him involved. I can definitely see him moving more into the MVP conversation. I really think
that's a hot take. Is A.J. Brown a leader for the MVP? Yeah, I think it's a hot take.
When was the last time a receiver was MVP?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Does anybody want to research that while we're talking?
I'll do it.
Okay. So, yeah, Mal, find the last time that a wide receiver was an MVP. If I want to get, I would assume Jerry Rice, but I feel like there has to be somebody since him. Did Randy Moss ever win one?
I think he got rookie.
A wide receiver has never won the MVP award in its 70-year history.
Wow. So are we saying that A.J. Brown could be the first?
Jerry Rice had 1848 yards, but Brett Favre still won in 95.
Easy.
Well, is A.J. Brown on pace to get 20,000 yards? I mean, 100 yards.
In 2000?
Yeah, 2000.
I'm looking that up now.
How many does he have right now? We're almost at
He's on pace. He has 809 yards now. He's on pace for 1,565.
So pretty darn close, right? And it's not so if he gets 2,000 yards, is AJ Brown the MVP of the NFL? I'd say it's good.
Possible.
Here's a
It's
hot
very
take.
possible.
Here's a hot take. I don't think a quarterback's going to win it this year. My two favorites as of now are Christian McCaffrey and AJ Brown.
Who was the first one, Lucas?
Christian McCaffrey. Third dark horse is Myles
that's fair.
Garrett. Third dark horse is Myles Garrett, though.
Wow.
And
Did you see what he did this past week?
He can take over a game.
Yeah.
So those are my three, but yeah, no, AJ Brown might be, I would say, legit candidate for him. Mal, that was a good little nugget there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, did not think we were going to talk about MVP already. We should do I guess either next week or the week after. We should do an MVP forecast, like who we had, for our division, and we'll review awards not only for our division but for the NFL next week. All right, if everybody's done talking about the Eagles, because I sure am. No, I'm joking.
I think we all are. Sorry, Maurice.
Did anybody want to add anything else before moving on?
I do.
Okay.
And Lucas, I was the one that is considered AJ MVP.
Oh, my bad, Earl. Sorry.
You're good. Maurice, you and Eagle fans should be thanking Howie Roseman for bringing AJ Brown to y'all team.
Mm-hmm.
Because with him being added to y'all team, it makes y'all team a completely different team. He adds juice, he adds tenacity into that, and that's what the Eagles needed. So y'all should be giving high praises in that.
You know who AJ Brown kind of reminds me of, and the way that how he plays angry in the game a little bit? It kind of reminds me a little bit of T.O., but not as much drama.
Yeah, maybe even more dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs to have a longer sample size before we really put him into that conversation. But this season,
there's Brian in them too.
Agree to disagree on that one, Earl. But Mal,
I played a game for the Eagles. Kelly Green uniforms.
Kelly Green uniforms. That's right. I agree.
Absolutely.
All right, Mal, let's go to the NFC East stats look. And by the way, we left the Cowboys out because they're on a bye.
Yes. All right. So let's do the Eagles first. Speaking of AJ Brown. So AJ Brown is second overall in NFL receiving yards with 809 yards, just behind Tyreek Hill, but he could definitely catch up. He's third overall in fantasy points for wide receivers with 150.9 points, and he's tied the NFL record for the last 5 games of 125 plus yards per game, and that's only held by Lions wide receiver Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron.
Ooh.
So that is
some
quite
impressive.
Company. So that's great. And we got the Giants next. So the Giants had 5 sacks in their last 6 games, but they have 6 in this last game alone. They had their first half touchdown of the season with Darren Waller, and it was also his first touchdown as a Giant. And Deonte Banks, rookie cornerback, had his first interception.
Mel, are you trying to take shots right now? Are you taking shots?
No, those are just the stats. You told me to take control of the stats section, so I took control.
I did. I just feel like I'm getting shot at here a little bit.
I'm sorry it was against your team, Lucas.
Sure you are. No, you're not. You love the fact that you guys can always beat us.
Look, all I was going to say, Luke, was ain't nothing changed but the date on the calendar in the first matchup.
Earl.
Sorry.
All right, get the Commanders out of the way.
All right, and then the Commanders, and you're actually going to like this, Lucas. So Chase Young is up to 5 sacks on the season, and he's on pace for his career best year, which was 2020, where he only had 7.5. So he should very well surpass that.
That's what's up. He about to secure a bag.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. I told you guys, he's looking really good this season.
Yeah, not everything is all bad with the Commanders, Lucas. Chase Young is one of the good.
Yeah, he's one of the good, kind of. Look, I'm not
Lucas.
I'll take the win, I guess. I'll take the win. Look, it's not been a good week in terms of wins for us. But anyway, Earl, you go ahead and start with the 4-minute drill. We changed it to the 4-minute drill, guys, because honestly, we can't get this under 2 minutes.
You know what? I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Mine is going to be the quickest one within 15 seconds. I had the 49ers and Vikings game, and shockingly, the Vikings won 22-17. Kirk Cousins, he balled out. That's a rarity for him on Monday Night Football. Kudos.
Kudos to the former Redskins guy. All right, I had 3 games. I had the first game is Chicago Bears defeated the Las Vegas Raiders. They should be tanking, in my opinion, as well. They had 2 backups in this game, Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell. Neither one of them looked great. And this was actually the game of backups because the Chicago Bears had Tyson Pageant, who was like a Division II quarterback, come in and start and play pretty darn good, all things considering.
Wild.
Yeah, wild indeed. Next game is the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Earl, thank you for giving me a game with Geno in it. Geno Smith had 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Cardinals, they were okay. Look, they can't really pass the ball all that well, to be completely honest. Seattle's a good defensive team. That's all I got to say about that. The fall of Jordan Love, guys, is real. Packers lose 17-19 with a late game interception thrown by Jordan Love. That was a heartbreaker. Outside of that, I mean, look, I don't know if Jordan Love's just going through a rough spell or if it's a bad sign of things to come, but it's not looking good for him right now after the hot start.
But media don't want to talk about.
All right, so Cleveland Browns defeated the Indianapolis Colts 39-38. This is a pretty entertaining game. Deshaun Watson got hurt again. I don't know what's going on with him, but there's been a rash of injuries for him. But PJ Walker came in, and he did okay. He was okay. Kareem Hunt had only 10 carries for 31 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. The controversy in this game is some calls went against the Colts.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought that the Colts should have won that one. They gave the Browns that win.
Rough.
Yeah. And also, the Patriots upset the Bills. The Bills aren't the same team this year. 29-25. Mac Jones had a really good game. 25 for 30 for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns. And
can I pause there for 1 second about Mac Jones? Can I just say this? I think if a team was built around him correctly and he had a good coordinator, Mac Jones would be a serviceable game manager. Does that make sense?
Would you take him over Sam Howell?
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying.
Oh, then. Well, that's not even a borderline good quarterback then.
No, what I'm saying, what I'm saying is I think Sam Howell's going to be a really good quarterback. I think Mac Jones can be an average quarterback.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
Would Mac Jones be a better quarterback than Daniel Jones?
Yes, he could be.
Oh
could
my
be if he was in the right
God.
system.
I'm never going to win.
Nope.
Lucas
Not
is
when it
not
comes
a
to Daniel Jones.
He is constantly taking shots.
Look, Danny
This franchise is
Dips,
fun.
or ESPN calls him. What did they call it? It was like Danny.
5-1-1.
Ouch.
All right. Anyway.
And also, just to finish that, Zeke had a touchdown as well for the Cowboys fans out there. And the Chiefs defeated the Chargers 31-17. The Mahomes-Kelsey pairing, man, it was on display here because they both went off. Mahomes had 424 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Travis Kelce had 12 receptions for 179 yards and a touchdown on National Tight End Day.
Yep.
Dominant.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, man. Let me tell you something. When his girlfriend's there, it seems like he can do anything.
Hey, man. That little extra motivation is all it takes.
I guess so, man.
That's it.
And with all the deficiencies they have with their offense and not a lot of talent with the receivers, the Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC. At 6-1, so
Yeah.
And their defense isn't slouch either.
Yep, but Mal, you're up.
Yeah, so Ravens Lions, with the Ravens having a dominant performance. They beat the Lions 38-6. It wasn't even close.
Works off.
Literally. Lamar Jackson had quite a game. He had 357 yards for 3 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. Did not think that was going to happen. Then I had the Falcons Bucks, which was a close one. The Falcons won 16-13. Desmond Ridder recovered from his performance against Lucas's Commanders last week, and he had 250 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Then I had the Steelers and the Rams, which is a pretty good game. Steelers come out on top 24-17. Kenny Pickett had 230 yards and a rushing touchdown as well.
That game was controversial towards the end, too.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, Maurice, go ahead, take your stuff away, man.
All right, let's talk a little fantasy football.
Oh, God, Earl.
In week 7 of the 13 Rings podcast fantasy league, let's start with me, because I beat Kyle.
You beat my boyfriend, yes.
Yes, I beat him 141-117. This is competitive, though.
For him?
Say it again, Earl?
Is that 3 straight losses for Miles
Yeah, I beat him last week.
I think so.
I'm beating him
the week before, Earl.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's see here real quick. I have it pulled up. He is on a 1-game losing streak. Hang on, then who did I beat last week? Because I definitely beat somebody last week.
Was it Mal?
Hang on, let's check. Week 6. No, I beat your friend John.
Okay.
Oh, no. Mal's boyfriend beat Joe Lauto last week.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was in a situation where Dak was on bye and Joe Burrow was on bye, so had to play Geno Smith. Geno Smith gave me 26 points. Christian McCaffrey is pretty much reliable for at least 20 points. He gave me 23. Intime gave me 21. Actually, I needed a receiver, so I picked up Braxton Berrios, receiver from the Miami Dolphins. He gave me 12 points. Goddard gave me 16. This is a pretty good showing for me, because a lot of my guys were either out or on bye. So I pulled out a win here. Lucas, you took an L.
Yeah, I did take an L, man. Let me talk about this for a second. So I had a couple things go wrong. First off, both of his running backs essentially had 20 points each. Allen from Buffalo also had 41 points. Outside of St. Brown, I really didn't have any of my wide receivers show up, not even Shaheed from New Orleans, who usually gets me at least like 8 to 10 on a bad day. Travis Kelce did show up. He made this thing close. But my quarterback is where it really killed me. I had Jared Goff, who had a couple really good fantasy weeks, but I benched him in front of Sam Howell because Sam Howell was on fire too, just not as much. But I decided to start Goff. And he only got me 19 fantasy points. No touchdowns, 1 interception, and it was just not a good look. Justin Fields was in my IR, so I picked up. Honestly, I should have started Russell Wilson. I mean, I still wouldn't have won, but it would have been closer. But outside of that, I mean, my defense got the 49ers defense, who usually are very good, got me -1 point. If I would have started the Ravens defense, I would have gotten 11 points. So if I would have started Russell and the Ravens defense, I probably would have won.
Who was your defense, Lucas?
The 49ers. But if I would have started the Ravens defense, I could have won.
Yeah.
If I would have started the Ravens defense and Russell Wilson, my third string, who I just picked up just as an emergency because Justin Fields was out, I probably would have won that. So you got lucky this time, Lauto.
Yeah, even if he went with his backup quarterback, who's Kirk Cousins, he had 44 points.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, man.
John beat Wes. Wes looks like he's in tank mode. I'll say that.
I
Tank
mean,
mode.
you could always hit him up for a trade. I'm just gonna say me and Earl have.
I want to keep the sanctity of this, the dignity of this.
They were
league.
fair trades.
Well, okay. More power to you. More power to you. And the most competitive game of the week is Earl, who defeated Mal 164-141.
So
I'm so
Earl
mad. I started
Earl,
Tua and I should have started Lamar. Sorry.
Man, Mahomes destroyed me.
Hold on. I got this one. Hold on. You remember
Go ahead, Earl. Talk about it.
you remember how I was telling you at the end of the season, just being extra close to Lamar Jackson? You've been ever since they were like, start Tua. I'm like, hold on now. Look at what Lamar's doing. Lamar gave you 65.3 points. He balled out.
I would have won.
You would have won if you started him. I'm going to throw you a bone. The Ravens play Arizona next week. Your decision on who's going to be quarterback.
We switched them because Tua has messed me up multiple weeks already, and I'm not in the mood. And Lamar's my boy. I should have just stuck with my gut from the beginning. But
and Mal, half of Earl's team was on bye.
I know, and the rest of my team did well besides Tua. And one running back because I had Breece Hall on.
I mean, okay, let's not act like you did bad. I mean, like you had 141 fantasy points. Earl just outscored you with 164.
No, totally. Calvin Ridley only had me half a point, which is kind of annoying. But regardless, the rest of the team did decently well. Like Mark Andrews got me 24 points. The Chiefs defense got me 10 points. AJ Brown got me 22 points. It literally was just a matter of switching Tua and Lamar, and I should have did it, and I didn't even think about it because I have 5 leagues, so I messed up. But I'm not making that mistake no more.
Your team is threatened. You had Tyreek Hill playing and AJ Brown playing toward the end of the last game on Sunday, I was like, oh Lord, it's about to be some points scored. And I was looking where you were and then how far you climbed up, and I was just like, holy smokes. I'm so glad Pat Mahomes gave me 65.8. Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman. He
was on the practice squad before all the injuries.
35 points. And then Stephon Diggs gave me 14.8. And if I would have started Cortland Sutton, because I was in panic mode, I probably would have gotten at least around 170 or so with his 16.6 on the bench. I took a test with testing out Washington's defense. They gave me 9 points, which I was okay with. I should have leaned towards the Giants. No offense. But Brandon Ayuk, Keanu Smith, Dotson, they just didn't come through for me. They gave me points that I needed. Noah Fant, he didn't do as well. Ray McLeod, he didn't do as well. But overall, I thought my team on the bye week did good. And GG's mouth.
Can we talk a little bit about, before we wrap things up, can we talk briefly, very briefly, about the fall of Brock Purdy? Because you talked about Ayuk, and it made me think of Purdy. Guys, is Purdy for real?
2 awful plays at the end of that game.
Is he a guy that you can win with, or is he just benefiting from a really good system and really good players around him?
Well, to answer that question, I think you can win with Brock Purdy. He's a system quarterback. But I mean, you can win with a system quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of people say Tom Brady was a system quarterback.
No, he was for the first half of his career.
Yeah, first half of his career. Yeah, he was. Yeah, you could definitely win with Brock Purdy. I think they're in a little bad stretch right now with injuries, but they're still a very competitive football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, 49ers will be back.
Yeah, it's just I really think they need Debo out there.
Yeah, he definitely changes the pace for them. And on that note, Mal, how about you? Oh, go ahead.
I just want to just break down the standings real quick before we move on. Earl and Joe, I can't believe Joe had a slow start, but both of them are number one right now in our league, 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle is me, Kyle, and Lucas at 4-3. Mal is 3-4. Got some work to do. John is 2-5, and Wes is 1-6. So those are the standings right now in our league.
Maurice, is John in our fantasy basketball league as well?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thought so.
Yeah. Yes, he is actually, yes.
So is Earl. By the way, Earl, you missed the draft.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And
You should... No, I'm joking.
You got a good team, though.
Yeah. No, it was a good draft. The auto draft was killing me there, Maurice. I see that's at Yahoo. You can't be using Yahoo, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Yahoo. The auto draft didn't start. It wouldn't start, so everyone had a minute 30, and it was.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
For sure. Well, anyway, Mal, how about you do week 8 matchups and play us out?
Absolutely. So we have another NFC East matchup this weekend. We have the Commanders versus the Eagles.
Man,
which should be
not
really
going to
fun.
be catching a break this, man. It is a rough
Hey,
stretch.
real quick, I know we heard the clip of Jonathan Allen. They might be a little bit more motivated this week.
I mean, I hope so.
There was a bunch of F-bombs
and we did push you
but
guys to overtime last time, so who knows?
Hey, Lucas, I love Jonathan Allen's energy. That was awesome. I hope it lights a spark under you guys.
So we do
have
it. Really
absolutely. Cool. So that's going to be a good one. The Cowboys come off their bye with the play against the Rams. And we have the New York, New Jersey matchup of the Jets and the Giants.
New
so that's
Jersey
gonna be
Jets.
fun.
New Jersey
Jets, New Jersey Giants. So that'll be a good one. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Please make sure that you follow us on Spotify at 13 Rings Podcast, and make sure you also follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Facebook at 13_Rings Podcast. And you guys have a great night.
We're going.
Good night, y'all.
Take care.